Madness of 60 million about to explode in Emirates. Arsenal decided to go with everything for Nico Williams, Athletic Bilbao's jewel, and the proposal is already on the table. But safe. Meanwhile, Antonio Conte is plotting a silent blow that can take a key piece of our cast. And no one at the club saw it coming. It changes everything to Arsenal. And if this negotiation leaks or goes wrong, the season may be at risk even before starting. Gunnar really needs to watch until the end because what is behind this onslaught will make you goosebumps. Titan play, Gunners. The bomb is armed. And let's go to today's news, but first just check it out if you are already subscribed to the channel, because the next videos will be a series of content that will help you stay informed about everything related to Arsenal the Gunners. Activates the notification bell and select the option All. Done that? We will send everything last minute that comes out of the behind-the-scenes Arsenal. Gunners, we have a goal of likes to hit this 160 likes video in the last video we hit. The goal in less than an hour, proof that it is root Gunners and leaves the like for us to hit this goal soon. Last hour, Gunners. Arsenal is about to make one of the biggest bets in summer. $60 million for Bryan Mbeumo, the Brentford striker who is setting the Premier League on fire. But while the eyes are focused on this weight reinforcement, Antonio Conte, now in charge of Napoli, prepares a silent blow to bring an Arsenal holder. And it doesn't stop there. Zinchenko may be leaving, and the club is already looking for a new goalkeeper. If you are an Arsenal fan, this is the time to be aware. I'm Guilherme from Arsenal News Today, the best in the world when it comes to Arsenal. Let's go straight to the point. Arsenal is determined to reinforce its attack and sees in Bryan Mbeumo the ideal piece. With 19 goals and 7 assists in the season, the 25-year-old Frenchman is versatile and can play in various positions in the attack. But Brentford won't make it easier. The price is $60 million, and Arsenal needs to act fast so as not to lose the player to rivals like Manchester United and Newcastle. Meanwhile, Napoli, under the command of Antonio Conte, is keeping an eye on Jakub Kiwior. The Polish defender, who had good performances when called, can be sold for about $30 million. Arsenal sees the sale as a profit opportunity, but also considers to keep the player, offering an extension of contract. The decision will depend on Kiwior's desire to seek more play or stay at the club. Another name that can leave Arsenal is Oleksandr Zinchenko. With only 4 games as a starter at Premier League this season, the Ukrainian has lost space for young people like Miles Lewis-Skelly and Jurriën Timber. The problem is your high salary of $150,000 a week, which makes it difficult to leave. The club considers a loan, as long as the new team arises with most salaries. In search of a new reserve goalkeeper, Arsenal mira Joan Garcia of Espanyol. At 24, Garcia had a solid season at La Liga, with 12 games without conceding goals. Espanyol, facing financial difficulties, can accept an offer of $12.6 million. But Arsenal needs to act before clubs like Barcelona enter the dispute. And for fans who still believe in the title, come on, Arsenal! In the comments, it is believed that the title is still possible. But the movement in the market does not stop there. Arsenal is also an eye on reinforcing its defense after losing Dean Huijsen to Real Madrid. The young defender, who was one of Bournemouth's promises, was sold by $50 million to the Spanish club. Now Arsenal needs to find alternatives to strengthen its defender. And you, fan, what do you think of these movements? Write, I believe, if you trust Arsenal will win the next game. Amid one of the busiest transfer windows in recent years, Arsenal finds itself at the center of a crucial decision, storm that can define the club's future. With the possible arrival of Bryan Mbeumo for $60 million, the imminent departure of Jakub Kiwior to Napoli, and the uncertainty about the future of Oleksandr Zinchenko, the Gunners face a decisive moment. Bryan Mbeumo, Brentford's highlight, is seen as the missing piece of Arsenal attack. His versatility and impressive numbers at Premier League caught the attention of Mikel Arteta, who seeks to reinforce the cast to compete at a high level. However, the competition is fierce, with clubs like Manchester United and Newcastle also interested in the player. Arsenal needs to act quickly so as not to miss another opportunity in the market. Meanwhile, Jakub Kiwior, who had good performances, when called, is in the target of Napoli, led by Antonio Conte. The Italian club sees in the Polish defender a key piece to reinforce his defense. Arsenal, in turn, is willing to negotiate, but also considers it to maintain Officer, offering an extension of contract. The decision will depend on Kiwior's desire to seek more play or stay at the club. Another name that can leave Arsenal is Oleksandr Zinchenko. With only 4 games as a starter at Premier League this season, the Ukrainian has lost space for young people like Miles Lewis-Skelly and Jurrien Timber. The problem is your high salary of $150,000 a week, which makes it difficult to leave. The club considers a loan, as long as the new team arises with most salaries. In search of a new reserve goalkeeper, Arsenal mira Joan Garcia of Espanyol. At 24, Garcia had a solid season at La Liga, with 12 games without conceding goals. Espanyol, facing financial difficulties, can accept an offer of the $12.6 million, but Arsenal needs to act before clubs like Barcelona enter the dispute. Arsenal's current situation requires rapid and strategic decisions. Each movement on the market can have significant consequences for the team's performance next season. The fans expect the club to make the right choices to finally win important titles. Don't wait. Send to 3 WhatsApp contacts that cheer for Arsenal as well and write, "I'm gonna raise." May God open the right doors for you today, for sharing our work and helping us. Be aware of the next updates, as the transfer market still promises many surprises. Arsenal is determined to set up a competitive cast and return to the top of European football. Follow all the news here at Arsenal News Today. And now this holds because what I'm going to say here will leave you with your head boiling. If the Arsenal closes even with Mbeumo for $60 million and still can hold the Kiwior, we will be facing one of the strongest and versatile casts of the Arteta era. But, and here comes the punch in the stomach, if the club fails in these movements, the coming season can collapse before it even starts. This is not just about buying or selling a player. This is about sending a message to European football. Arsenal is here to fight, not to participate. And look at the size of the risk. Losing the Mbeumo to a direct rival like Manchester United or even Pro Newcastle, who is hungry for titles and money to burn, would be another painful déjà vu. For this crowd who has seen names like Mudryk, Vlahovic, and even Lisandro Martinez escape their hands in the final straight. And let's be honest, how many times more we will stand to see Arsenal building negotiations and other clubs coming with more courage, more money, and more ambition? And don't stop there. The Zinchenko case is a dead weight on the payroll. If you don't solve it soon, it will be another year with money that could go to a real reinforcement being buried in a reserve bank. It's hard to say that, but if you continue that way, Arsenal runs the real risk of turning that almost arriving club that almost competes, that almost wins. And I know that you are watching it here can't stand living in any anymore. Now hold this crazy theory. Or perhaps not so much. What if the sale of Kiwior is exactly the movement that releases Box to bring an even more explosive attacker than Mbeumo? What if Arsenal already has a plan B stored in the shadows? Something no one is seeing? Something that even Insides has even fished yet? Because the truth is that Andrea Berta, the new strongman behind the scenes, didn't come to play. He does not negotiate just to be present. When he calls a businessman, it is because the business will leave. And if he's really leading this project, get ready, because he has tried to take Arsenal to names that the media didn't even start to speculate yet. But none of this matters if the club does not act with wrist. Firmly. In a hurry. Because the market does not expect, the rivals don't wait, and the titles, they don't expect either. So here is the final bomb. With everything at stake, with this cast on the edge, with the pressure exploding inside and outside the club, if the Arsenal does not hit this window, the Arteta era can start dying even before reaching the peak. And nobody wants to see this happen. No one here wants to live another cycle of empty promises, a squad in February and another season leaving in April. Now I want you to comment below with all your strength. Game is war. If you think the next confrontation will be decisive to the direction of the season. Writes this now and shows that you have the team, that you do not escape the pressure, because the time to support is now, not when it is easy. And oh, if you enjoy hot, bombastic backstage news, true speculation, without winding and with that energy of those who really live the Arsenal every day. So click on the playlist here on the final screen or in the fixed comment. It has everything. There, latest transfers, internal controversies, scenes of the locker room, in-progress negotiations, and what the board really thinks about the future of the club. And if you think all this here was hot, expects only what is coming in the next news. Spoiler? Let's talk about a selection star that is one step from Emirates and can completely mess up Arsenal's attack as we know today. Don't leave here without seeing, because the next pump can be the largest of all.